When it comes to investing, it is important to understand where you are investing your money. There are 4 main asset classes, and in this video, I want to help you understand them a little better. Let's get into it. First, we can invest our money in cash deposits by leaving it simply in a bank or building society. Second, we can invest in debt, fixed income securities. These come in 2 main forms: gilts, which are basically loans to governments, or corporate bonds, loans to companies. Third, we can invest in property, and finally we can invest in stocks and shares, equities. Let's talk about the sort of returns you could expect from these investments. From 1956 until now, the average rate of return from a savings account was around 5%. Fixed income securities, that's bonds and gilts, 6%. Property returns were between 10 and 12%, although the returns very much depend upon the asset itself, if it's residential, commercial, bought privately or through a fund. And finally, investing in the stock market also returned just over 10%. Interestingly, if you look at small cap stock markets, within this asset class, that's small companies, the returns are uplifted to something like 14%, and I will go into more detail about small cap markets in another video. But for now, I just want to get to grips with the returns. Another factor to consider is inflation, which over the same 60 years or so, through good times and bad times, rose about 5%. So effectively, if you compare investing in cash or fixed income with the rate of inflation, you can see you're not really going to make much. Consider the cost of a first-class stamp. I was born in 1972, and the cost of a first-class stamp back then in the UK was just 3p. In 2019, it's 70p. Recently, my youngest daughter lost a tooth, and on the way up to bed, true story, she said, "Night, Dad, just to remind you, I'm expecting a minimum of a £5." And this was for a tooth. Growing up in the 80s, you lost a tooth and you were lucky to get 10p under your pillow. But there you go, there's inflation in the real world. This gives us some home truths about where we need to be investing our money to successfully get through maybe 30, or maybe even 40 years of retirement, where we'll see living costs potentially rise 3 or 4 times. To recap on what we've explored in this video, when it comes to where you should be investing your money, cash in the bank is a non-starter. Bonds, gilts, treasury stock, and corporate bonds are not going to be much better, and personally I don't believe in investing in debt. So really the only 2 asset classes that make any sense at all are property and equities. And that's where I invest my money, my family's money, and my clients' money. To finish off, there are 2 schools of thought on how to best invest in these asset classes: indexing and speculating. And in my next video, I want to explain this in more detail, because I can tell you that one works and one certainly doesn't.